All right, hi everybody. We should be live now. It's the Grey Man back again with some comic memories, and I'm joined by a stalwart of the British comic community. It's Comico Deano. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad, thanks. Have you got some memories, or is your memory like mine, and you can't remember any of your memories?
I'm struggling these days, mate, with the memory.
Yeah, it's terrible. At least you remembered that this was tonight at 8 o'clock, so that's the one
Yeah,
good thing.
we did good. It's a win. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
exactly. It's definitely a win. So, how you bought anything nice recently? Any new comic books picked up?
Yeah, I've kind of got my regular. I'm trying to trim down, so like I've got my pull list, but I've
Yeah.
kind of tried to stop kind of digging in the bins and pulling out random stuff and everything. And I'm kind of putting that money into trades and stuff instead. So
Okay.
that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
Yeah. Well, so you're looking for big books rather than like individual issues.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just kind of
Uh,
looking for those kind of collected editions and stuff. And I mean, I've got stuff that I collect, so I obviously want the floppies of those things. But then those
yeah.
stories where I kind of like, oh, I've always wanted to read that, but I'm not going to go and spend the money on eBay or something silly like that. I'm just trying to get them in all collected editions.
Some of those are quite expensive as well now, aren't they? Them omnibuses. Some of them can go for crazy money.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Go
Yeah.
heavens! I think with the omnibus game, like it's like when it goes out of print, like the
Yeah.
price shoots up.
Yeah. Until they bring out a blinking second edition or something like that.
Yeah.
As they should do. Right. So, as usual with this show, I like to get people to come on and chat about five of their comic memories, or five memorable comics, or five comics that got some kind of resonating with their memory. So, are you doing yours in chronological now, or just not really thought it out
I've not really thought it out. I've kind of put them in the order that I'd like.
to talk
Like,
about them? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
if that.
that's easy. That's fine. So, do you want to kick on with the first one then? Tell us what your first comic book is. I'll put you on the
Okay.
big screen.
Oh, not the big screen, mate. Not the
Yeah, that's
dreaded big screen. Oh, I've got to look at myself.
uh,
Oh, the
it's
evil.
it's quite bright.
The first book.
You're looking very orange.
I'm looking very orange. It's my tan nose, mate.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, some light, some light in there. I wasn't too sure.
The first one is not specifically this comic book, but I think this is the oldest one I own of this
Right,
character. So
right.
that's why this is kind of I'm quite fond of this book.
Yeah,
And it is Action
nice.
Comics there with Superman on the front. Action Comics 328.
Cool. What year is that from? Do you know?
I don't without taking it out, mate. I'm not
Off the top
sure.
of your head.
It's a 12 center.
Yeah. So
So
it's
I
got
should imagine
late
maybe
60s or something
around
like that.
somewhere around there, yeah.
What number was
But
it?
I love this cover. It's like Superman's clapped his hands and caused like the devastation of a whole city.
There's Action 368, did you say?
No, 328.
328. I'm putting it on. I'm sticking it up on Comic
Like
Shop to find
doing
out
a
what it was.
Google.
Yeah, I did a quick Google. So that's 1965. September
There we go.
1965. That's a good. No, it's something about comic books that are older than we are. There's always a
Oh yeah,
frisson of like, you're looking at real history when you've got comics like that. Yeah, and I look at
yeah,
it, it sort of
and
blows your mind.
there you go.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
The typical UK variants of the old comic. Well, they're not UK variants, just Americans, but they just put a stamp on them, don't they?
Yeah,
That a lot of people like them stamps, don't they? They
I
kind of,
do.
yeah, I don't mind them, but sometimes you find them in the silliest places as well. It's like they deliver. It's almost like they're trolling like
Like
comic collectors of the future by stamping over the characters' heads and that kind of
over
thing.
his face or something. Yeah,
Yeah, I've got this
but
one. It's World's Finest, and Batman and Superman are under the wing. There's like this wizard guy or sorcerer guy, and he's got like a white disc for a head, and literally date stamp right in the middle of his face.
oh man,
But I found that amusing. Though I thought that was quite funny. I felt like I was being trolled by like an ancient kind of, well, not ancient, but someone from the '60s trolled me by blinking stamping the price on his face. So
but
when did you get?
the
When did you get
reason
that?
why.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go on.
bud.
No, you carry
Go
on.
on.
Yeah. No,
I was
you
going to
carry
say
on.
the reason why I've chosen this one, why I'm quite
Yeah.
fond of this, as I said, it's not the particular book, but it's the character. And this little chap here, I feel, doesn't really get a lot of love. by some of the later generations of comic book readers and collectors now, and I can understand why, because I think a lot of them feel that he's a bit overpowered, and but to me, the reason why this is special, because this character is special, is because when I was a kid, like those movies and stuff were pretty instrumental in my kind of memories of comic books and Christopher Reeve's Superman. It's a big instigator for me, you know. It's a gateway, I suppose.
So that's one of the things that got you into superheroes in the first place, seeing those movies.
Oh God, yeah! As a kid, seeing like Christopher Reeves doing that and flying off, and like chin was on the floor, you know. It was
He had to go back in time. He had to go back and save Lois Lane by turning time back.
Yeah, like spun the planet the other way around, didn't he? Yeah, I mean that's incredible. Like when you were a little kid watching that, that was amazing. Cool. And I do wonder, like, if I hadn't have seen that as like a little boy, whether I would have been like so even now like so awestruck by comics sometimes when I read them. So that's why I've got a lot of love for that book. It's my oldest Superman comic. So and it's tied in with all of those memories for me.
What's he saying? Give us the spiel. What's he saying on the cover there?
What's he saying? Well, you got the guys, the guys here that are watching. They're saying the spy monitor shows our plot worked. We managed to secretly coat Superman's hands with chemicals that made him a living doomsday bomb. When he clapped his hands to applaud the Superman Day parade, he detonated a blast that wiped out Metropolis.
Oh, man. Yeah, I love those. I mean, I say people who don't like Superman, the old Superman comics, are missing out. I love the old Superman, it's old action. Yeah. I've even started on Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen now because they just did that Silver Age madness, as I call it, where the covers are all full of crazy, wacky situations, like Superboy breathing out flames and that, all kind of weird stuff that they do.
You showed a few books off on the Sunday Night Live when you came on, didn't you, about Lois and her kind of wacky boyfriends that she had?
Yeah, that's right. She's always getting on a strange relationship with someone or other. I think. I mean, also the Superman ones are a bit cheaper than the old Batman ones. The old Batman ones tend to sort of be more hard to get hold of. So that's why I tend to see like Superman ones because I do a lot of my buying on it on Facebook selling groups, and people will quite often show off the old Superboys, old Lois Lanes. Very rarely, if an old Batman comes up, it's normally twice the price, and it gets snapped up a lot quicker. But the old Superman, I'm always up to buy an old Superman comic if I see it going at a reasonable price. Because I think they're fun stories as well. And I know he has been overpowered, but I read him in the 90s as well. And I thought he was cool. I thought they always found a way to make the stories fun because they'd always have a loophole to like find a weakness or they'd, his supporting cast would have interesting stories as well that would cross over with him. So I always thought they managed to keep Superman interesting, even though he is highly overpowered.
Yeah, and I think I can kind of understand why a lot of maybe younger or newer readers wouldn't be so into him. I mean, Batman, I can understand, like you said there, those books are harder to get hold of. He's undoubtedly more popular today, and I can kind of understand why, because he doesn't have a superpower. He's a man that solves his problems with logic and technology. And that's very much a kind of hero for the age, isn't it? Yeah. Superman's he's far from that. So I get it, but he deserves more love.
Yeah, I think there's a light and darkness as well. I think people like the dark, moody superhero in Batman.
You're saying cool. we've all become a bit bitter and cynical in the modern world.
It's quite possible. That's possible. It's quite a possibility. Yeah. But, then there's other people who like these upstanding citizen of the Superman who stands for truth and justice, and not just the American way, but for the right way all over the world. I'd say.
Yeah, he's altruistic, isn't he? Through and through. I like that about him.
Yeah, he's a good egg. No, an all-round good egg. Our Clark.
And he's the granddaddy, isn't he? He's the kind of the man that started it all, and you can't forget that.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Been going quite a long while now.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. Do you collect current Superman, or have you ever sort of collected a run of Superman, or you like dip your toes into him as a character every now and again?
Yeah, occasional runs and stuff like Man of Steel, and there are kind of runs that if I see it, I'll pick up. But it's not like a consistent thing. It's not like I'll go out specifically for Superman and stuff. He's kind of firmly there, like in my memory. I have started reading it again recently though, because apparently, it's got really good. Somebody said to me, "Oh, it's actually picked up and it's really good again now." And I think I've read the last 5 issues, and it has been really good.
Did you ever get into the Death of Superman storyline? Did you pick that one up when it came out?
Yeah, the Death of Superman. Yeah. Was you a fan?
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
Quite stupid though. I don't know how. I mean, only recently I discovered that I didn't actually have the Death of Superman issues. I bought a trade and I started collecting it after that with the rise of the Supermen when the 4 super guys come up. And when I was only when I go for my comics like 20 years later, I was like, oh, I haven't actually got any of the Death of the Superman stories. I must have just had it in a trade, but I think I've collected most of them now.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first one of these I got as well.
Oh,
Death of Superman.
Yeah. Pretty cool story.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's really good.
Yeah, because it led on to quite big stuff, didn't it? Because it led on to destruction of Coast City, Hal Jordan going mad and becoming Parallax. Yeah, so quite a knock-on effect went on there.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Anything else you want to add about that story? Was it a good story, that one, or was it just daft as a brush? Like,
it's as to pinch your term, mate. Yeah, the Silver Age madness in there.
I find them
clapping his hands because they've coated this stuff on. It's bonkers,
Yeah, I find them stories so fun though. It's just like they tickle me. I know they're ridiculous, but it's just like it's kind of like wholesome in a way. It's like old, silly, wholesome kind of childish, but like I suppose that sort of ignites the childish passion in you from what you first liked when you was reading comic books, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. And it does. That's with those particular books. It's hard to get away from any sort of nostalgia. I think even if you weren't born then, like I wouldn't have been with this book. It's hard when you're reading that not to kind of be transported to another time, like with different values. And, it's amazing what you get from reading them older books.
And you read the letters pages and see the old adverts as well. It's like it's the full article in it. So yeah, they're kind of like time capsules, time capsules,
Yeah, let's be honest. Those adverts, man, they were ripping children off like left, right, and centre back in the day.
Yeah, it's kind of lucky we couldn't apply for any of them because of their being in America. Because we probably got it ripped off ourselves. I always wanted a pair of X-ray specs, but I don't think they quite did what they were supposed to have done. To be honest, I reckon they were a bit of a con.
I don't think any of that stuff did what it was supposed to do. I think.
Yeah, I always wanted some sea monkeys as well, but I think they would have been a waste of money.
Yeah, I think Luke had some of them. He did a video, I think, Hydra Collectibles. I think he's got some sea monkeys.
They're just bloody well insects, aren't they? They're just little kind of weird water insects, aren't they? Strange. Anyway, let's move on to your next memory then, shall we? Your next comic memory you want to share with us today.
Next memory, I suppose we're still kind of in childhood a little bit here as well, mate. And that would be...
Okay, Mask.
Yeah. So Mask.
Were they not called Action Force at one point?
You know what, mate? I haven't got a clue.
Okay.
I always know them as Mask, but you might be right.
Yeah, I just had a weird feeling that there was something called Action Force, and then suddenly it could change its name to Mask, but I could be wrong. I think I was a bit old for them. By the time they came along, I wasn't really collecting like toys like that, but I do remember seeing them in passing. So was that? How is that? Why is that a good memory for you? Did you have the toy line?
Yep, I think that sparked off all of that as a child. That was the whole thing there, right there with toys. I think that was kind of like around that time where you had like He-Man, and that was that golden age of kind of toys, comics, and cartoons, wasn't it? Or like all connected together as like a big money spinning machine. And I think this was part of what exposed me to that. And I used to love the cartoon. So I have very fond memories over this book. I've got the full run of these. It's a 4-parter, I think. Yeah, 4-part mini-series.
But just a 4-part. Is that all the only comics they did? Was it just a 4-parter?
Well, I think we've got British ones as well. So this is the original one. But we've got this. There's some kind of British comics of these knocking about as well.
And that being like a toy line, there was like 100 different members of the team, wasn't there? Wasn't there like a whole team of good guys and a whole team of bad guys, something like that?
Oh God, yeah. There were so many, and like each kind of character had a vehicle. So it was
Yeah.
just there were loads of it.
So who was your favorite character then? Who was your
Oh,
favorite bad guy? Who was your
it's got to be that guy. Matt Tracker was the guy. He
Matt
was
Matt
the
Matt Tracker was that? Matt
Matt
Tracker or
Tracker.
Matt Tracker? Okay.
Yeah, Matt Tracker.
Oh, right.
Um,
Someone's put it in the comments. Slot it up. He knows him.
Hey, Sly Up, fan of Matt Tracker. Yeah, so
I
he
think
was cool.
Yeah, I think they did do a UK version because I'm sure I had like Tiger and Speed or something, and then it ended up merging with Mask at some point, like they always did the old British comics.
There's definitely a British version of this knocking about, like Mask. I don't know anything about that though.
Did you ever have any the old British comics? Was you ever
Yeah,
those?
Mate, an honourable mention really would be if I just had an armful of like Dandy and Beanos. That's where it all. I think if you're British, it's not original, is it? I think you're probably gonna start there and then work your way upward. I think.
Yeah, so I used to get loads of. I'm kind of looking back now. I kind of wish I hadn't collected as many of those and got more superhero comics because I had weekly. My dad got me like 4 different British comics a week, kind of thing, and I never got any American comics until I got some pocket money. Then I'd go out and buy some when I had a bit of pocket money. If I'd said to me, Dad, look, don't worry about these weekly ones, just get me these ones every month, I'd have such a better collection now. I tell you.
Did you enjoy those British comics?
They weren't bad. They weren't bad.
Yeah, see, like looking back on it, it's very different than kind of being there, isn't it?
I'd keep the 2000 ADs, but get rid of the Speed and the Tiger and the Whizzer and Chips that I used to get every week, and get me some Batman instead. Right, now someone mentioned here, the noob says he loved the theme tune of Mask. I thought, since it's one of your great memories, I'd like you to just give you your rendition of the Mask theme tune now.
No, I can't remember the bloody.
I'll give you the screen, mate. I'll give you the screen. Give us the first bar. Can you? I
haven't got a clue. I don't even think I could remember it if I wanted to.
Oh man, you're letting us down here. You're letting us down.
My memory's terrible, mate. But no, that cartoon was just all kinds of awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I even watched it. I don't believe I even watched it, to be honest.
That's your weekend sorted then, mate.
Nah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. My last kind of toy line that I bought into heavy was Masters of the Universe, and I was probably too old for that, to be honest. But I was like, I don't want to grow up. I want to carry on playing with toys. It's fun. I was probably like 14. Probably like 14 when they came out or something.
They were cool toys, though. They were, mate.
They were cool.
Masters of the Universe stuff.
I hated the cartoon, though. I hated the cartoon.
Really? You're not a fan of the cartoon?
No, I hated the cartoon because I bought them when I was in America, like on a holiday, and I saw these in the Toys R Us. And I bought Beast Man and Man at Arms. So Man at Arms was my favorite. He looked best. He looked better. And then I realized that found out that He-Man was meant to be the hero. It just is Masters of the Universe, isn't it, on the packaging? So I didn't realize that He-Man was supposed to be anyway. So by the time the cartoon started, I already had my own story for everybody, my own. And then this Prince Adam comes along, traipsing through, like, I'm going to turn into He-Man, and they're like this. It was just like, this is rubbish.
Here comes Adam with his bob haircut, ruining everything.
Yeah, it's like, no, that's not my story.
Man.
Anything else you want to share with us about Adam? Mask, about Mask. Have you got any of the toys still?
No, sadly not, no. But I did see, I can't remember who it was, on Instagram. And they were, I kind of put this up on Instagram. This was a while back now. And then they kind of sent me like a load of, he said, I've still got the toys for all of that. I was like, no way. And then he sent me like a load of, and he has got like a huge collection of all of these Mask figures and toys. Yeah, amazing.
Because
the only one I think I'd really want, mate, is the truck.
Right.
I'd want the truck.
Right. I actually had that 4-part, that Mask 4-part. I sold it on eBay a long time ago to someone in America. I remember that. I think I ended up selling it. But it was a bit of trouble because he sent me a blinking dollars check, which was no good to me. I can't remember if I ended up selling it to England or not. Ooh, I've got hiccups today. I love He-Man. He taught me not to trust strangers. Yeah, they would have a good moral at the end, didn't they? And not to lie. What else was I going to say about? Oh, right. The best toy ever. I don't know if you may have been. You may not be old enough for these. I'm not sure. But Action Man was the greatest toy ever in the history of mankind. It
I
depends.
don't know about this, Grey Man.
Did you get the later Action Man? The later Action Man turned to crap, but when the
This
original
man
Action Man
had
was
his
good.
pants sellotaped or
Uh,
glued to him,
that's
and he had a thing in the back of his head that made his eyes do that. It
Yeah,
was strange.
it was the sharpshooter neck. He had the eagle eye, so he could scan the horizon. The sharpshooter neck. I mean, I'm not worried about him having his blue pants on. I'd much rather him wearing some underwear and having to see his cock every time I change his bloody trousers. To be quite frank, the original Action Men didn't have the blue pants. They actually, they had this kind of like a shape which is supposed to be, I don't know, indicative of his parts, I suppose. But yeah, but
Wow.
no. Then later on, they brought him out and decided to change him from being a soldier into being like a skateboarder and BMXer and that guy. That's when he went. That's when he turned to crap. But in the time he was a soldier,
I think
he
the
was
Action.
cool.
You're talking toys, like he has to be up there as like one of the most important toys of all time. For me, I just never found him very interesting. But that said, the reason why is because I'm not really like a military person. So like any kind of comic books or novels about war and stuff, I kind of disengage a little bit,
Yeah, I think he's
Kyle, how did Kyle?
He was a toy, definitely a toy for my era. What's he say? Oh, I wish I'd watched that He-Man episode prior to getting into that free ice cream van. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't trust strangers. I thought Comic Museum was riding the free ice cream van. I thought he was the driver. Right, so nothing else to add about Mars. We'll move on to your third comic memory.
Third comic memory for me. We're getting serious now.
Right, put your full screen.
We're getting serious, Memories are getting a bit later in life now, and we're getting a bit more serious.
Right, that's a popular one. Slot It Up showed it on his one that he chatted with me about a little while back.
Yeah, I have to put it in there. Yeah, I did see the Slot It Up one, and I thought I can't leave this out. If we're talking about my memories, and this was the book that got me into Batman.
Right.
And ever since reading this when I was younger, I have the one thing that I've consistently collected is Detective Comics. It's never come off the pull list. If I'm collecting, there's been times in my life when I am collecting and not, but if I am collecting, Detective Comics is in the pull list and the collection, and it's because of this. This got me into Batman.
Yeah. So you wasn't collecting Batman before that, or
no? This was my gateway to Batman. See, for me, I kind of grew up on the Marvel side. It was kind of Dandy Beano, Spider-Man, X-Men, and then I kind of got into the DC later on, and this was the thing that introduced me to the Bat.
Right. And where did you remember where you bought it, or was people talking about it and made you pick it up, or?
I couldn't even remember, mate. See, because the thing with me, I think I've said before in other videos, is like I collected when I was younger, and then I moved to the United States for a couple of years, so I sold my entire collection. And then when I came back, I suppose another honourable mention really would be Why the Last Man, because an ex-girlfriend of mine just gave me the trade paperback and said, "You've got to read this," like Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan. And that was the thing that I was like, right, I need to collect comic books again, So everything I've acquired now is kind of like acquired again, from when I was younger.
When did you restart collecting then?
I probably around 23, 24.
Oh, right. Okay. I was thinking more of a year. I was like 23, 24.
Oh, 1923.
Yeah. I know in the future, you started collecting again in the future. Yeah, so
I look good for my age. 1923. Yeah, that's what I started collecting. I've had a good life.
Yeah. Okay, so you was quite young when you moved to America then. You didn't buy any comic books when you were over there. That was been the perfect time to start getting back into comic books. You'd been all the flea markets and that.
Yeah, big regret really. But like I say, I kind of went over there and like sold everything that I had, and it kind of seemed at the time, like I was off doing that, and I thought I'd left comic books behind. I was kind of like, right, I've sold them off. I'm off doing this now, in the world. And it was, but it's one of those things, isn't it? Like when you think like that, once it's gone, you kind of miss it really. As soon as somebody put something really, truly great writing in front of me again, I was like, that's it. I need to start picking this stuff back up,
Yeah. I haven't sold like anything like that. I haven't done anything like that, but I've sold a couple of comics. Like, because I was like, I've got to concentrate on superhero comics. So I'll get rid of my little small amount of horror comics and war comics that I've got. And now every time I see one of those, like someone shows it off, I see it on eBay. I go, oh man, why did I get rid of those comics? And I feel like I want to buy them back. Like even though I know I've got no room, I've got like
didn't I send you
you did,
in
yeah,
the
right.
AOK? I sent you one
yeah,
that you used
yeah.
to have.
That's right. Yeah, Sergeant Rock one. Yeah, because I had a few Sergeant Rock, a few Creature Commandos, GI Robot, then weird war ones, and I sold them, and I'm like, oh, why did I sell them for? One day I'll get them all back.
Anyway, when you regret those things, you know.
Yeah.
It would have been lovely, really, to kind of come back and have that collection still waiting for me when I came back to England.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is at the time, isn't it?
Yeah. So what do you think of that story then? What was it that compels you to talk about it all these years later, and to count it as one of your memories?
Well, like I say, for me, it was my introduction to Batman. So again, the wow factor for me as a young lad reading this was kind of like, oh my God. But I think it was the first kind of style of writing that I read that was kind of a bit more mature, in the sense that we all know the stories. It's a bit more kind of poetic, and it's a little bit more arty in the way that it tells the story. And I think that was the first kind of thing like that I'd ever read. And it was also my introduction, I think, to Bolland's work as well, particularly Bolland's Joker, who is now like my favorite artistic interpretation of the Joker. So it's quite a lot of good vibes for me about that book.
When you read it, then did you know that Barbara Gordon was Batgirl? It was Batgirl that was being shot. Did you realize that when you read it, or
yeah.
So you kind of knew who she was anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Did you watch the cartoon version of it?
Yeah, actually, do you know what? I only watched that probably about a year ago. I think it might have been less than that. It might have been beginning of this year. I think, I don't know, but it was pretty recent.
Yeah, I think I saw it just the once. It was all right. It was good enough. It was told the story fine.
Yeah, it kind of didn't have the same magic as the book. I don't feel, again, it lost that. There's something incredibly dreamlike in that book as well. I don't know whether it's because it's a mix of quite dark things happening and the way that it's written. But the animated movie didn't have that kind of magic for me.
Right, yeah.
Like you said, it was okay,
Yeah. I say it is weird, isn't it? I don't know if because you just see the snapshots of the story, don't you, in a comic book, just like a pose here and there, a panel here and there. But when you've got it all flowing through, it kind of, I don't know, maybe when you're reading the comic book, you have your own imagination of what's happening between panels or something like that. And when you actually come and see it flowing through on a cartoon or whatever, it just feels different.
Yeah, and I think as well, sometimes like with the comic book as well, like something can happen and you get like that impact. And then it's quick and you move on. Like if you put it on screen, like either animation or film, you've kind of got to drag that out a little bit, and maybe that loses something of it, in your mind when you're kind of reading that.
Yeah. Killer Comic show's on tonight at 9 p.m. That's cool. They'll be finished long before then, so you can all go over there and watch that. Okay, so what's number 4? It is number 4 on now, isn't it? Or is it? Yeah, number 4. No, number 5. Whatever number we're on. What's the next? I'm always doing this. I need to get like a pen and pencil so I can write how many memories you've had so far.
What day is it?
Count. I always lose count.
The next one, run number 4.
It is number 4. I was right.
You was right, mate. You was right the first time. Probably a very important book for me. And again, people will probably just go, it's not that important, but to me, it is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It is.
Right.
It is the what is it? The biggest selling comic book I think of all time, like X-Men #1 there.
Yeah, but this is the beauty of doing this. It's not about what everyone's favorite is. What's your personal favorite? What resonates with you is what we want to find out. So So tell us what was it about that comic that makes you count it amongst your great memories of comics?
Well, this is, I mean, like I said, it was Dandy and Beano and stuff all the way for me when I was a kid, and then it was a bit of Spider-Man, but that was because of like the cartoons and stuff, and a lot of the merchandise stuff when you were a kid. But then I found this book,
and
this to me literally, I think is the reason why I collect comic books, because this was the first book I'd found
All
that
right.
included characters that kind of were recognizable to me. It is in like within my community. Like I grew up in a pretty poor part of Birmingham, and it was a very diverse area and stuff as well. So the X-Men, once I'd kind of seen them in the book, they kind of reflected people around me in society, the diversity in there. But again, that enabled me then through this to go on and find the Uncanny X-Men, Claremont and all of that. So that's a huge thing for me, because that's the X-Men is my thing even to this day now.
All right. So that was the first. That was the first X-Men comic you bought, was it?
It was the first kind of the first. I think I jumped on at that point, or I picked it up. I don't know, it may have been out for a while, and I just got hold of a number one. I can't remember, but yeah, it was this that was my gateway to X-Men. So I have really fond memories of this. I think I owe comic book collecting a lot to this book. Without this, I don't think I would have found a lot of other stuff,
Yeah. Do you remember where you got it from? Do you have a local comic shop near you that you bought it from, or did you buy it from a newsagent? Or
do you know, I couldn't tell you. Like my memory's not that. Can you remember where you got certain comics from?
yes, to a certain extent, yeah. My early ones,
Wow.
I remember I used to get them around the corner from where my dad lived. So most of my early ones, like, oh yeah, I got that in the newsagent around the corner from my dad's. And then after that, it was my local comic shop that opened up down the road. So.
Do you not think it's a bit of a shame as well that they don't sell comic books in newsagents anymore?
Oh, just comics full stop. Like the British comics, it really upsets me. The British comics aren't being sold anymore. Like they are, I think there might be a Dandy and Beano combined now or something like that. Like maybe once a quarter or so. But it's just like kids aren't interested in reading anymore, are they? They've got video games.
I kind of think, like, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day as well. And I think when we were younger, because, we're old enough to know that comic books were there in the newsagents and get hold of those, that kind of exposed us to that. And now I just think, well, if you're a little kid, unless your parents take you to somewhere like Forbidden Planet or a local comic shop, you're not really going to be exposed to comic books, I don't think.
No,
really.
that's right. That's why I can't help but think that the hobby is going to die out in a couple of decades. I mean, we all start snuffing it. All us old sods are reading comic books, start snuffing it. All these. I mean, if you're young and getting into comics now, it's probably good. Like I've got my nephew, 16. When he gets to my age, hopefully there won't be so many of them left. He'll be able to buy all the blinking FF1. There's no one else wants it. There's no one else collecting these comics now. I'll be able to buy them all, or he will be able to buy them all, maybe. But
could you imagine?
I don't know, maybe.
You'd be lucky if you could do that.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the old British comics. That I really loved them, and I don't buy them now. But it kind of feels a bit sad that kids are not reading. I was kind of making them reading that much, to be honest, because this comics are sort of, especially boys. But comics are a lot of boys into reading. Because they wanted to see the pictures, they want to see the action going on, and they'd read the story as well and get into it. But so I'm assuming there's a lot less. I don't know what the literacy levels are like in the UK now, but without comic books, for them to read, they'll watch YouTube videos instead, which is not a bad thing if they're watching our videos, of course. They're all watching YouTube videos and playing video games rather than.
I think there's probably a lot of people who just be like, "Well, I'm not going to read that book. I'm just going to watch a video on it instead," which is really sad. Go read the book, man.
Yeah, it's true. I wasn't that keen on that X-Men one. To be honest, it was not my. I didn't know. We did a review. I was doing graders notes with Roger and team. And I wasn't that much. I would already been reading comics for quite a while at that point, and that was kind of like because Marvel lost me completely a little while after.
Yeah, I was just going to say you gave up on Marvel, didn't you? Yeah. Probably just before this. Yeah,
I did get that one. I think I got the first 5-6 issues or something like that, and then it was I just found that too much of a chore to read. It was so much going on, and it just too convoluted for me. Like I agree. I just found it dull.
I completely agree. Like, this isn't the greatest X-Men thing you'll ever read, but like I say, like I owe this.
Yeah.
Because without it, I would never have found like Uncanny X-Men. I would never have gone back and read all of that Silver Age stuff. But this isn't brilliant.
But this is why this is about people's own memories. You know, I can share my own memories anytime, but when I hear other people's memories, other people's stories, and like people are going to have comics that they love simply because it was one of the earliest ones that they got. You know,
Yeah.
a comic that means the world to me because it was like one that I bought. It would be like, oh, well, that's just another comic. You know, to other people. That's the whole point.
That's the beauty of the hobby, though, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's your favorite X-Men? Let's go for that. What's your favorite X-Men?
I don't think it's any secret to people. I've kind of got two. My favorite is kind of Gambit.
Right.
I'm a big Gambit fan.
Yeah.
But my ultimate is Storm.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah.
I've always been a huge.
Yeah.
I collect Storm covers, and so I suppose she's more of my favorite than Gambit. But those two.
I think my first favorite was Cyclops. I just liked Cyclops. I think back in the day, I thought he was cool.
It doesn't like laser beam eyes.
Exactly.
Everyone loves laser beam eyes.
Yeah, I was always getting bullied for my big googly eyes. So I was like, I wish I could fire laser beams out of my eyes. You know what I mean?
I'll show them.
Exactly, yeah. Blast them with my laser beams. But yeah, it never happened. There's still time. There's still time.
You never know. You never know. We might have some sort of invention. Who knows?
I really couldn't stand Gambit. I've got to say, it's Gambit. I just couldn't. I don't know. I think it was always because I was trying to read it in his accent, and it just got on my nerves. Yeah. It's like trying to. I don't know what it. And also, I thought it was a bit of a chancer. I don't know. Wasn't keen on him.
Oh, he definitely was. Well, I think that's kind of why I like him. He starts, and he's a very sketchy kind of character. You know.
Yeah.
It's only, I think, later on when they start kind of retconning a little bit and everything that he's actually kind of like, you know, you accept him a little bit at that. I mean, he was involved with Mr. Sinister and the Marauders and the Mutant Massacre and all of that stuff, you know.
I think that must
definitely.
Yeah, I think that came in after. I never heard about that, so it must have come after I stopped reading.
Oh, you're missing out. I know you don't read Marvel, but the whole Mutant Massacre stuff, it's good.
Yeah, I've sort of got the first Mutant Massacre, but whatever they've retconned afterwards, I've got them in the Morlock tunnel where they're wiping them out and all that.
I've
got all that storyline, but obviously they retconned that Gambit was involved with it later on, I suppose.
They did. Yeah. You find out, I think around about, I did a what's the issue video with Mike the Collector, and we looked at, I think it's 350, where Gambit has to kind of like answer to his kind of like his sins of like his involvement in that. So yeah, you kind of go back and see what he did and how he was involved. It's good. It's a nice kind of tie-in. I think after that, X-Men definitely kind of went a bit crap.
Yeah, I found it was just the story was getting too convoluted, and everyone turned out to be everybody else's grandson or something like that, and it was just like
everyone was related,
or a clone of somebody, or like a time traveling blinking embryo belonging to I don't know whatever. It just got so convoluted and dark. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm done with that.
And then they made it even worse in the 2000s because then you had like X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue. It just made it even worse.
X-Men Puce. I'm not sure if they had that one, but it's an option. They could always go for that one later, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else you want to add about that comic book?
No, not really. That's why that has a kind of important memories for me because that is literally, I think, my gateway to comic book collecting. And fun memories, isn't it?
Is Mr. Sinister your favorite X-villain?
Oh God, yeah. I love Mr. Sinister. I just think I like that kind of like, you don't get more flamboyant in 80s than Mr. Sinister.
All right. Okay, so last memory then. Number five of your comics you want to show us today. What have you got for us?
Number 5 is alive. More recent one, modern book. And you may have seen this one before, Grey Man, but this is a very happy, lovely, fond memory of mine, and it is.
Oh, right. Oh, is it because of the story or because of the fact it was a present from lovely Matilda?
Because it was a gift from Matilda. And I think this is the first comic book anyone has ever done anything like this on and gifted to me. So this is very special.
It looks pretty cool with the white on the black as well. It does look pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Was it Robin King's he called, didn't he?
Yeah, the Robin King.
Yeah. I actually
God.
read one issue of that Death Metal. It wasn't too bad actually. The first issue, I think, of Death Metal. I don't know if I think I got it from Matilda actually. Did she draw? I think she might have drawn on the Death Metal cover for me as well. I can't remember now, but I have read. I thought it wasn't too bad.
It's
It was
okay.
a bit
can
out
just
there.
it can just get a bit confusing, to be honest. I think sometimes it can be a bit heavy. So yeah, I think it depends on what you're reading. Like some of those tie-ins, it can get a little bit confusing about what you're reading.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a happy modern memory. That will stay in the collection.
Yeah,
It really will.
that's cool. So, what's your current modern comics that you're really enjoying?
Oh, I'm enjoying. I collect both Batman and Detective at the moment. Batman comes and goes, Detective stays.
Yeah.
I'm reading Venom just because everyone and their grandma is reading Venom right now. I am enjoying it. What else am I reading? I'm reading a couple of indie titles. I've got Bliss on the pull list. I'm reading that. What else? I can't even remember. Oh, and Blade Runner. I'm reading Blade Runner 2019 as well. And get that on your pull list. If you're a fan of Blade Runner, read that book. I think it's so overlooked.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, I think it's might be an Aftershock title. But it's great if you like Blade Runner and you like that universe and that whole kind of like the mythology around Blade Runner and all that kind of future. This book is really on point with it all.
All right. Cool. That's a recommendation in from Dino. Well, anything else you want to add about that comic at all? Are you looking to get some more art covers at some point?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I kind of like, again, I don't. I mean, I don't usually go after any of these things, and I think this is special just because somebody took time to do this, and send it to me. So that's why it's gone in as a fond memory for me.
Yeah, I've got some cool stuff from Matilda. She's done me my favourite one that she did for me. I think it was my birthday last year. Was the demon and Cthulhu holding hands and skipping along. It's just like I think I requested that as well. Like, and yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyway, so do you want to finish up telling us what's coming up on your channel in the future? What's coming up soon? I'm sure people, you've got your regular weekly events, haven't you?
We do. On the next thing we're doing now will be Sunday. So we'll be doing the Sunday Night Live, which is the comic book community hangout. So we usually just show off what we've been collecting for that week. And then we talk about a few news items that we've seen, interesting things. And, everyone is invited to come and join us. We'll drop the link like halfway through and you do got to click it and come and hang out and talk about comic books. So we're doing that on Sunday. And then on every Wednesday, you'll find me on the Nerd Herd where we pick a story arc every week. And then we read through that story arc and we sit down and have a discussion about the writing, the art, and then we kind of give it a score and we have a leaderboard as well.
What's next week's one?
The leaderboard's not serious. Don't take it serious.
What's next week's one?
Harleen, the DC Black Label, the 3-issue one from last year, I think.
That's right. Because I remember watching you talk about the scoreboard. Don't take it too seriously. I'm sure you made a rule like the week before last about if it was 0.25, you'd round it down. If it was 0.75, you round it. I'm sure you this week you did a score and it was like you should have rounded it down and you rounded it up or something.
Great,
I was like, no, I was like, this is not what you. I was like, this is not what you said last time.
You're too observant, Grey Man.
You rounded it the wrong way.
We did say that. We did say, we'll round it and we'll round it down. But in the end, we just thought, no, we'll leave it in there. We'll leave the decimal in there. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we've just left it in there. If it's a 5.2, it's a 5.2.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. That's all good stuff. Then. And also you're coming on Cover Slingers on Saturday.
Yeah, I actually mentioned it on Wednesday at the end of the Nerd Herd, and I got to apologise to you, mate. I called it Gunslingers. I think it was because we were reading Pulp the week before, which is about cowboys.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. Gunslingers, I missed that.
Let's call it Gunslingers. Don't know what's wrong with me.
I didn't have a blinking title for it, and Matilda says, "Why not call it Cover Slingers?" And I'm like, "Okay, that'll do." Cover Slingers Showdown. Yeah, I think this is actually this last comic you've shown, and like sort of bigging up Matilda and saying, "Oh, this is a lovely comic Matilda gave me." I think you're trying to butter up the judge ready for Saturday. because Matilda is the judge on cover. Yeah.
Are you watching, Matilda? No, I didn't.
All right, mate. Cheers for coming on.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's been a
No
pleasure.
worries. And anyone else wants to come and discuss some comic memories, just get in touch with me on Instagram. Just hit me up and we'll have a little chat. And yeah, cheers for coming on. And we're out of here. I've got to go and cook my dinner. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye.